slide because the text is a central point in our research activity, because papers are published, philosophy, mathematics, biology. Then in this case, we can see, unfortunately, the slide is the figure is not so clear, but there is the reference of paper in which there is the figure. And you can see that in the 10 years ago, more or less, started a project in which for some time I also was involved. That was called BioCreative, because a project that was focused on development of machine learning application on biomedical text mining or biomedical information integration. I'm sorry, but you can believe me, there are different applications. For instance, the medical informatics, e-health analysis, drug information, or what you want, annotation of sequence, all are textual. And I hope the next, and this slide underline the central role of text mining and knowledge discovery in text in the biomedical field, and in the perspective, in a more complex way, in the exposome perspective, in the exposome view.
Sir, just wait. Sir?
Then the next slide. Okay, this one. This essentially shows to you what is the trends of text mining. Unfortunately, it's arrived more or less 4 years ago, after the many problems are arising. First of all, the tools are not too strongly efficient to analyze the text and to extract knowledge from the text. Because at the end of the history, the available system allows only to work at syntactic level. In the biomedical language discovery, as you can imagine, also linguistic expertise must be involved. Then, in addition to fuzzy set, in addition to biological expertise, we need a specific linguistic approach. Normally, the big projects are found on bio-NLP are based on English, because 90% of the papers and 90% of the sites are English. But there are other small problems that are related to the vocabulary, to the process, to the phase of text preprocessing, and so the management of some linguistic aspect in order to prepare the data for data mining. Thanks. Okay, this is a more recently approach of text mining for chemical, because also chemicals and pharmaceutical need works on text. In this field, there is an additional problem, because we have strings that represent the formula of the compounds. Officially, there are literal and numerical strings, very long in many cases. For instance, you can see here the name of the chemical compound, then the management in a text mining perspective, the management of these names without loss of the meaning of the compound is very important. In a system that split a text containing the name of a chemical substance, normally the line that connect different part of the name, of the comma, of the parentheses that are used for defining it will be removed. And the name, well, is broken in different parts as a common textual word. Then the problem in this case was to to maintain the integrity of the meaning of the chemical word. On the other part, you have chemical entities, that is chemical compound. You can have the abbreviation given for their target, gamma-aminobutyric DMSO, that are the biological acronyms. On the other is the name of identification of the Cas number, the number of the compounds, and here you can see the formula, as I explained yesterday using smiles or other, and this is the name. The problem is how to recode these names in a perspective of text mining. Thank you. Okay. In which way natural language text mining and natural language processing can contribute to Exposome? Essentially, given data, organizing data, and transforming data in a way that for any data mining system can operate. The contribution is mainly related to those information are not associated with the measurement of then quantitative information. Then, as you can see, abstracts or, for instance, report or or also, for instance, the legends of tables in a paper or the legend of the figures that we can have talked yesterday. They analyze the knowledge of consistency of multi-sensor monitoring. It's the same because the idea that you receive multiple sensors, any station or any system give you also some report, and this report normally are a textual part. You can use this textual part to have a landscape of what the system have recorded. Integration of clinical and epidemiological data with social information. Mainly the epidemiological data and the epidemiological report are descriptive statistics that give for a specific population morbidity, mortality, or what you want. And you have a synthetic statistic. You don't have in many papers the data in a disaggregate form. You have statistic, and social information is the same. Mainly is given by descriptive statistics. Discovery of the very important support is the discovery of previous unseen relation between molecular and environmental information. This is strongly related with the lesson of Professor Paladani, because each text is a transaction that in which there are different words, different things that can be used. The association between the discovery of new association with high plausibility or high statistical relevance in general sense is important to find to discover new relation among, for instance, pollutants and pollution level and genetic modification analyze the consistency of toxicological screening. It's the same that is another approach like multi-sensor monitoring. We have a lot of information, a lot of high throughput screening. In this case, the text normally is in a report. For instance, in the case that we have analyzed antibodies array, you have received a report with the tables in Excel of the raw results, and you have received also some characteristic of the results as a report. Thanks. Can you change? Okay, you can see now the some of the main sources of unstructured information. Obviously, the first anyone knows PubMed. The second is online Mendelian inheritance in man. That is the database of genetic disease. In fact, this is a collection of description of the genetics and the links to other databases such as SNPs database, Human Genome Database, or Ensemble, or what you want. But the description and some symptoms of the disease is textual. The other is ToxNet. ToxNet give information, structural information, offers also the SMILE code or other kind of coding, but in any case we have a high content of textual information. And one must mine only the field of this database to check, to increase the data or to enrich the textual set. Hugo Genome Committee is the top, is the committee that assign the name of gene, and for each gene there is the description of gene. It's not relevant, but it's relevant because this database allows to link, in some case, protein with a gene. Making an analysis of proteome, the many protein, there is not a direct link, there was not a direct link between proteome and genome. The code of UniProt is not the code of gene database. If you use if you plans to link the output of an instrument from proteome, you must convert the protein code into code of genome. Then the list given and the description given the Hugo dataset is important to preserve to perform the correct correlation. The last is chemical abstract registry that contains all the information about chemical. Obviously, it contains chemical physical property, molecular descriptors, and other things, but it also has a ToxNet have a field with the textual information. Thanks. Okay. The basic step of linguistic preprocessing is, first of all, is download your data set and remove from this textual data set all the empty abstract. As probably each one of you can have it directly tested, you go search a title on PubMed, and sometimes abstract is not available. Officially, the title, officially the paper could be interesting for you, but you cannot modify, you cannot use to make the analysis. In this case, could be an incomplete data or missing data. The second part is the second standard step is the stemming. The stemming is to find the root of a word. There are, for English, that is the standard language for this approach, for this method, there are 2 or 3 different stemming systems that allow to remove the suffix formula from a word. For instance, genomic disappear omic, remain gene. Inhibition or inhibitors, you can remove or rest inhibit. The stemming seems a silly step, but an incorrect stemming can generate confusion in the creation of the set of words, because you won't work on genomics, but the stemmer won't remove omics, and the resulting is gene plus genomics. Okay, then one must improve the discrimination between genomics and gene, because the stemmer for gene remove the e, for the other remove the omic, and the root is the same. Obviously, that is the same because the one is derived, is a derived word. The third is the stop word removal. That is also a big problem because stop word are words with without any information. For instance, pronouns, adverbs, some kinds of adjective or other are not relevant are not informational in the basic line. They can acquire information if they became non-coding. If I attempt to clean an abstract having non-coding RNA, and in the abstract non is separate, there is no trait, no line between non and coding, or even there is also a connection between two. A system of parsing the text, remove the non, and you have coding. It's the same thing, the same situation of genes. Then the stop word removal is another possibility to reduce the capability of syntactic and semantic analysis, but it can be solved in the complete text analysis. The word frequency count, Professor Pasardani talking about items, then an abstract you can consider a transaction in which there are many words. You can, how many house there is an abstract. Then you can count the words after the previous steps, and you can make a frequency, estimate the frequency distribution of each word. The word frequency count normally give you a lot of words. Then we must filter out this word because many cannot really informative. The two ways to filter the word are the common zip flow or the Shannon entropy estimation for each word. For each word in the document in a data set, your text is an object, is a part of a data set. And you can estimate, normally the people use the zip flow in order to reduce the number of words that will be extracted for data transformation. Then the last, when you have finished this procedure, you can transform a symbolic information, symbolic data into a numeric. The vectoral space representation is a vectoral form of a text, of a document, in which each location is represented by a specific frequency parameter of a selected word. Then at the end you have a matrix with each location has on the row are the document and the column are the selected word. We can manage more than 100 words. Please. An important operation on Word on text mining is the named entity recognition. A named entity is a word that unique define an object. India is a named entity. DNA is a named entity because there is a direct association one-to-one and no other ambiguity can be done. As you can see, that named entity in a application of data mining can be the fixed point, the sure knowledge that can be used. For instance, DNA, RNA, or other thing can be easy to the acronyms of the enzyme, for instance. The second is the latent semantic analysis that is normally is based on single value decomposition of factor analysis or now, on many machine learning tools. That it is impossible to discover the association between the terms in order to find a Gordon association. Please. Different form of word. Why I insert this slide? Because there are different the word coming from different area, from different contexts. Common language word are the common English word, what that you can find in a vocabulary. Acronyms that you know very well, enzyme acronyms or what you want. Chemical names that I said before are a very complex structure, and we must be capable to maintain this meaning. And numbers. Why? Because in some abstracts and texts there are also numerical information that can be, for instance, many abstracts can see the performance of this analysis is 40%, or how C value is 75%, or what you want. These numbers can be interesting. Mainly, if it is possible, not only working on abstract, but analyzing all the text of the paper. It's possible now to work directly on PDF, involve PDF, and extract some information. This is very interesting because it's a process to improve the speed to extract the data that can be used for the creation of a repository or for exposome in some situation. But the number must be considered as a word, otherwise the cleaning system removes from the text. Please. Okay, example of data mining application in biomedicine. The first is for instance, the first author uses the active and deep learning to creating information in computational neuroscience. Then, what is the aim? Okay, I need to merge together the information. I need to check the quality of the curation. We come back to the ontology, we come back to the same thing, the quality of information. The second is using text mining for identification in systematic review and systematic review approach that is related to the system biology, to find a relation that can be used to modify mathematical modeling system in system biology. The other is is a search on clinical trial. The other is this is interesting because is text mining using it, let me say, in a social field, because there is a problem about alcohol dependency.